Hello YouTube, this is Shaktak, and this is part 3 of the Cymbal Dragon. I'm sorry, I was going to post it yesterday along with the Cymbal Dragon part 2, but I was lazy and decided not to. Alright, here we go. So far, Fluttershy just found her feathered friend Hummingway dead. And she was crying hysterically. Okay, here we go. Fluttershy slouched back in her armchair, her eyes still wet with tears. It had been 3 hours since she discovered the dead bird. Very upset, she had dug a small grave in her backyard for him and buried him, still crying. Only recently had the waterworks ceased, and she was now in a depressed mood. 2 birds in 1 day. That was just too much for her.
Please, just try to relax, Fluttershy,
the voice in her said to her.
Hummingbirds don't live very long. You should be surprised that Hummingway lived as long as he did. But why today? She asked herself. It was such a good day today and yesterday. Why did this have to ruin it? Nature doesn't work on a timetable. It decides things and nobody can change it. Besides, you should be happy you found his body tonight. If the noise hadn't startled you, you probably wouldn't have found it until morning, and by then it would have... Wait. The noise? Fluttershy sat upright in her chair. Now wasn't it a little suspicious that she heard the noise, and then found one of her beloved pets dead? But what made the noise anyway? Getting out of her chair, Fluttershy started looking around the room. Her animals couldn't have made that noise. She didn't give them any metallic toys. Rhymes. Nothing broke on any of her shelves. The kitchen was clean, except for the broken glass she still needed to take care of. Nope. Nothing could have made a noise like that. Except her attention turned once again to the metallic dragon. No. She'd already tried that. Its gears were frozen stiff. It was simply unable to move. At least, that's what she thought. She stared at the toy suspiciously, its amber eyes meeting her glare. Maybe there was more to this toy than met the eye, and she knew exactly who to talk to find out. Twilight studied the dragon. It was early the next morning, and Fluttershy had called her over, saying it was an emergency. She had brought over a book on old toys and antiques, and was currently trying to match Fluttershy's dragon with a picture from the book. Twilight?
Asked Fluttershy. Bags had formed under her eyes, a result of no sleep the previous night due to worry and anticipation.
Did you find anything?
Well, it's a metallic dragon, wind-up cymbal-playing dragon, at least 50 years old, replied Twilight, reading through the article. It was first marketed as a musical happy dragon with the ability to growl and play music when a button was pushed, but later versions removed the growl, leaving only the...
No, not what I mean, Twilight. I mean, does it say anything about these toys acting... strange?
Strange? How exactly?
I mean, that is... Have they sometimes played by themselves, even if you didn't do anything to them? And does their music do something to animals?
Twilight closed the book in annoyance. Fluttershy, what's going on? She asked, eyelids lower.
Oh, nothing,
Fluttershy responded.
Just curious.
This is about Pinky's present, isn't it?
Well, yes. I don't know why, but it just seems a little creepy.
Twilight rolled her eyes. You brought me running all the way over here because you thought a toy was haunted?
Yes. I mean, no. I mean...
Fluttershy started to cry.
I don't know anymore. It makes me feel uncomfortable somehow.
Yeah, I think these things are Excuse me. I think they made these things unsettling on purpose, Twilight responded. It's just how they're made. There's no evil magic or anything behind them. Just a collection of cogs, springs, and sprockets, all fit together inside a metal casing in hopes of causing the arms of said casing to bang two pieces of metal together.
Yes, I suppose,
Fluttershy said, her eyes wet with tears she had not yet cried. Twilight sighed in slight frustration. Look, if it makes you feel any better, I'll take it back to the library with me and see what I can find, okay? Fluttershy nodded and gave a small timid smile.
Yes, thank you. I'd love that.
Twilight wheeled her book and the dragon into the air and walked out the door. I'll let you know when I found something, she called back. Fluttershy nodded, and Twilight started back toward the library. Fluttershy sighed in relief. Even if there was nothing strange to this toy, it felt good to get it out of the house for a little while. And besides, soon Twilight would tell her that everything was just her own. Bark! Bark! Came a noise. Fluttershy, still in her doorway, turned around to the source. Winona was running toward Twilight, who hadn't gone more than a few feet away from Fluttershy's house, with Applejack close behind. Winona leapt in the air and grabbed the floating dragon with her mouth. Hey! Twilight shouted, losing her concentration and dropping the book. The dog was running in circles right outside Fluttershy's door, the dragon in its teeth. Winona! Bad girl! Applejack shouted, catching up with the hyperactive dog. Heel! The dog stopped, walked over to Applejack, and sat down. Drop it! Applejack commanded. Winona didn't do anything. Drop it! Applejack commanded forcefully. The dog whimpered and set it down. Bad girl! Get back to the farm this instant! The dog whimpered again and walked off, tail between her legs. Sorry about that, Twilight, Applejack said, putting on a cheerful voice. I don't know what got into her. One minute she's rounding up the chickens at the farm, and next she's running away, barking like an Ursa Major itself was after her. Not a problem, Applejack, said Twilight, picking up the dragon and her book. At least she didn't get very far. Nope. Well, I'll see y'all later. Applejack walked back in the direction she came. After pausing for a few seconds, Twilight started walking again. Fluttershy stood in the doorway, a little unnerved.
It was almost like... No, there you go again, Fluttershy. Nothing unusual about this toy. It's just... Gangway! Coming through! Came a pair of brony voices.
After a second, Snips and Snails came barreling down the path, laughing. Twilight ducked out of the way before they hit her, dropping the book and the dragon, both of which they seemed to stumble on. Whoa! Oof! The bronies shouted as they tripped over the objects and hit the ground. The dragon toy rolled down the path and stopped right in front of Fluttershy's house. Twilight walked back up onto the path and glared at the two. Why don't you watch where you're going? She demanded. Sorry, Snip said, getting to his feet. Yeah, sorry, Snails repeated, doing the same. We were just having some fun, Snip said. Well, you boys go have fun somewhere else. Somewhere where you're not in any pony's way. Yes, ma'am, Snap said, and they headed back up the path, running like nothing had happened. This must be the special path for today, Twilight said sarcastically, once again picking up the book and the dragon. Okay, for real this time. I'm off. Fluttershy was too shocked to respond. The dragon had once again found its way to her doorstep. Maybe it was just an accident, but it still happened for the second time too. There's a screech in the air, causing Twilight to stop in her tracks. Seconds later, a large eagle swooped down from the sky and grabbed the dragon. Hey! Twilight exclaimed again. The eagle flew just a few feet and dropped the dragon right in front of Fluttershy's house, then soared off. Wow, Fluttershy, said Twilight in amazement. Looks like something wants you to hold on to this toy. It must be pretty special. Fluttershy couldn't answer. 2 times was a coincidence, but 3 times. Well, I give. I'll see what I can do, though. See you, Fluttershy. Twilight picked up her book and walked back to the library. Fluttershy just stared at the dragon in shock. Its amber eyes stared back at her, piercing the very inside of her soul. Whatever this thing was, it wasn't going to leave. It was just going to keep coming back and...
Oh, relax, Fluttershy, she told herself. You're making something out of nothing again. You've been doing that a lot lately. You have no proof this is behind the deaths of the birds or that it's magic. Just put it back on your shelf and forget about it.
Fluttershy nodded. She was right. This was just a toy. She grabbed it from her lawn, walked back inside, and placed it on her shelf. She was just being nervous. Nothing to worry about. Nothing. She was reminded of how tired she was. Seeing as how she didn't get any sleep last night, that was understandable. Maybe just a short nap. She walked over to her armchair, closed her eyes, and fell asleep. Alright, so that's part 3. I'm probably going to do part 4 today too, because I'm really bored.